Hey guys, welcome to this stream. This one-off stream, I will be looking at some of my favorite films and TV shows of the year so far. So halfway through 2024. And yeah, I've done my top 5 shows of the year so far and also my top 5 movies of the year so far. So I will be playing some trailers from my choices and saying a little bit on each one. And if you guys want to comment also. I'm going to start with some honorable mentions for TV though. Hey Jason, welcome. Hey, thanks for showing up. Happy Friday. Nearly the weekend. Which is good for some. Good for some. If you don't have a job, I guess it doesn't make that much difference. But yeah, always nice. How are you today? So if you guys want to let me know some of your favorite shows and also films of the year so far. But I'm going to play a trailer because this was an honorable mention. I finished the show recently. It's an anime. I don't always do anime, but this one was a lot of fun. That's good. That's good. There's the details for Patreon. Sort of educational anime, but with a little bit of a horror adventure vibe, and that is Delicious in Dungeons. Here's the trailer.
てくる意志があるんだな。どんなことがあろうと。食料は迷宮内で自給自足する。は？なんか結構うまそうなのがいたはずだ。
無理絶対に無理。ひょっとしなくてもお前前々から魔物を食べる機会を伺ってただろう。
おえ
サソリ鍋か。しかしそのやり方には感心せんの。できたぞ。
私にもちょうだい。
They always work food in somehow.
おいしい。
ダンジョン飯、それは食うか食われるか。そこには上も下もなく、ただひたすらに食は生の特権であった。ダンジョン飯、ああ、ダンジョン飯。
Yeah, the music puts you in the mood, doesn't it? It has that fun adventure type feel, and I know the manga it's based on is from the guy who did The Ring, I think. He's the one who wrote the novel to Ring. That became Ringu. So, yeah. Yeah, that's a fun show. That's an honorable mention. All episodes are on Netflix now. I think there's going to be a season 2 at some point. So that's an honorable mention for my top 5. Also, let us know some of your favorites in the comments. Another honorable mention, another Netflix show, which I've got 1 episode left of, but it's a lot of fun, and it also has an Oscar winner. Take a look.
He hit me.
We don't hit family.
You go anywhere near our family, there will be nowhere on earth you will be safe again.
Mom?
The Brother's Son, which came out at the start of the year, and I've got 1 more episode to go, and Michelle Yeoh is fantastic casting. She's never bad. And yeah, it's just a fun little spin on like what's a pretty typical genre. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's good subversion of tropes and some good action scenes, some good twists and turns. And yeah, there's no obvious like good or bad guys in a way. There's a fun twist in one of the later episodes of that as well. So good stuff. The brother's son. Because things get a little bit murky with one of the the youngest brother, who the mother, the Michelle Yeoh character, sort of wants to have a normal life outside of like the kind of gangland type stuff that's going on. So that becomes an interesting storyline with him and his older brother, who's kind of saying you've got like responsibilities, you've got to live up to the family tradition and name. So it's pretty fun stuff. Some good music as well. And another one that almost made my list, which is a BBC show which just finished season 2 recently, with a great performance by the versatile Martin Freeman. This is quite a gritty show, but with a few funny moments as well. And that is The Responder, which just had series 2.
I'm trying, right? But when does it fucking kick in? I went to see my dad yesterday. There's no pictures of me.
Your mother and you left.
We are going to London. I'm going to take Tilly.
Do not think of taking that girl away from me, because she's all I've got left.
I think I'd rather burn my hand on a hot iron and do this shit with you like every night.
You're not as much of a twat as you think you are, you know.
You are, though.
You were involved with Carl Sweeney and his murder. I've got evidence. Don't make me use it. I need you to search your house.
What am I going to do with it?
I'll get rid.
Where's me gun, dickhead?
You owe me 10 grand.
Who's this fella calling the shots?
I just need something to sell.
I don't know what to do.
Someone must have dead. You can sort it.
No.
I'm really hoping this is all just some mix-up, because if it's not, you're dead.
I love you.
You're not a bad man, Chris.
I'm scared.
Please!
It's all my mate.
And as someone who lives in the UK, I can confirm he's doing a great accent with the Liverpool accent. So there's nothing Martin Freeman can't do, apparently. The son of a bitch. Now, it does get a bit depressing, that show, at times, but it's definitely worth watching. Some good character drama in it. So that's The Responder, which is on BBC iPlayer now, both seasons, and Disney Plus, randomly, because Disney owns everything, as we know. So a few honourable mentions there, which you can find on streaming platforms now. So into my top 5 for TV so far of this year. And number 5, I finished last night, a little bit of a binge watch. And it surprised me how good this was. I'm going to play you the trailer and then talk a bit about it. But yeah, there's a bit of a theme with a couple of mine of like shows which actually proved maybe better than the movies that they're based on. Here's my number 5.
Cosmic mysteries. How it is that someone can go from being a total stranger to being the most important person in your life? What do you want to be when you're 40?
Am I allowed to say rich? What about you?
I want to do something that actually makes a difference.
Change the world, you mean?
Maybe just my own tiny corner of it.
You have all these people telling you how great you are. You know, smart, funny, talented.
Oi!
I've been telling you for years. So why don't you believe it? He still mates with Dexter. He's doing all right for himself.
Pizza Express would have been fine.
After we met, I had a bit of a crush on you.
So what happened to it? This crush.
Back in the late 80s, it was all I thought about.
And now?
I thought I finally got rid of you.
I don't think you can. Let's pick up the phone, Emma. We're with Dex and M, aren't we?
Imagine one selected day struck out of your life and think how different its course would have been.
Yes, Netflix knew what they were doing with the Valentine's schedule, weren't they? But so one day, a surprisingly good show from this year. They used the format really well, and you can see how the format works well for a TV series. And the episodes are pretty short, even though there's like 14 of them. But they cast it so well. The leads have great chemistry, and I really like how they dig into like the difference in their backgrounds and expectations and how that could be a hurdle in their relationship. But there's some fantastic like relationship drama in there. There's some great cringe moments, like just moments that feel like authentic for like just people who have had like bad dates, which is obviously most of us. And just, hey Cindy, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. And thanks for sticking around the other night as well. You were there for the whole time, so that was great. But yeah, they cast One Day really well. I think the lead actress is great because obviously poor Anne Hathaway got some stick for a Yorkshire accent when they did the movie. Well, this actress is Welsh, so she has no problems with the British accent, the Yorkshire accent. She does a great job. Yeah, and she's a natural. She's a great actress, great comedic timing, and like she just makes you like her really. Like she's really grounded. But yeah, at times it's a darker show than you expect because like the path that the Dexter character goes down is quite unexpected, and it sort of does show you some of the pressures of that rich family puts on their sort of children, and how like his addiction does get quite dark at times. Yeah, the leads definitely have good chemistry. But yeah, they subvert things as well quite well because late on in the show, one of the relationships Dexter gets into, which is a girl who he has a kid with in the end, like she comes from a very like rich family as well, and they sort of set. At first, I thought she was going to be a bit kind of shallow and like snooty, but she actually turned out to be quite nice and quite likable. And like later on, when things start falling apart for him, she does look out for him. Like her family are ghastly, like they're pretty awful. There's this really cringe sort of scene where Dexter meets them for the first time, and they're playing this ridiculous like upper class Moriarty game, which is when someone's like blindfolded and you have to say, "Are you here, Moriarty?" And the idea is that they've got to duck a newspaper from the other person. I don't know if it's based on a real game or not. It wouldn't surprise me, but yeah, that's just one of those scenes where you can sort of see that things are going to fall apart and there's going to be like some sort of accident coming. But it does things like that really well. And I know it can feel like they're hitting you a bit with like the indie music and stuff and the playlist, but they do use the music very well and they really sum up like certain eras and things like that. So I think it's a pretty like realistic, relatable show. And they do subvert one or two cliches as well. And it's got a surprisingly dark ending too. It's been a while since I've seen the film, so I can't remember if the film has the same sort of ending, but so I can't comment on that. But no, I enjoyed it quite a lot. Yeah, I did enjoy. One day it was one of the surprises. Yeah, similar sort of vibes. Yeah, I need to watch Normal People. I'm actually reading the novel, the latest novel by that author Sally Rooney, at the moment, just to show off. I think she's become a little bit of a hipster like author, just because when I was away recently, I saw someone with a tote bag of the novel. So it's like, okay, you know you've made it when there's a tote bag of your novel. That's very trendy. But I do have one of the other Sally Rooney novels. I think it's either Normal People or Conversations with Friends. But I've got that to read. But yeah, one day I would recommend. Quite an easy watch as well. Yeah, I must have taken that off the deck. Okay, so moving on. My number 4 is sort of a comeback show and a change of direction for the show, and that is...
Some people come to Alaska to escape. Get away from something. Sometimes they come here looking for something. Sometimes they find it. I'm working on this case. These men disappeared 48 hours ago.
It was the last sunset before the long night. Theory is they went out to watch it. It was a weather event.
Yeah, I'm treating this like a murder case.
How scared do you have to be to run out in the ice without any shoes?
Hey, this is a crime scene! No more fucking around!
You think I want to work with you? Take a look in the mirror. No one can stand you.
I'm just gonna do this one thing. Work together to close this case. And that's it for the two of us.
Yes, it is. You don't really think we're gonna find them, do you?
You're the one who believes in miracles.
We ain't got shit. We don't have anything.
Sure you're up for this?
It's the third day of dark and it's already getting weird.
This is Ennis. Some questions just don't have answers.
The night country. It takes us one by one.
It's crazy the shit we survive.
Okay. I reviewed most of that on the channel. But yeah. Impressive atmosphere, impressive mood. I loved the setting, intriguing plot and themes. The leads were very good. I think it wouldn't have been as good without those two leads and chemistries. Yeah, I think I was mixed early on. And maybe it's just a sign that it's been a bit of a mixed year. But I was won over by the end. I did like it quite a lot. By the way, Kyle Reese is a boxer. Like that was her first acting role. The other lead, she's actually a boxer, or is it MMA? It might be MMA actually. I might have got the wrong sport there. Yeah, I think it is MMA actually. Yeah, that was her first role. But yeah, I think a lot of it did come down to the mood and atmosphere and mystery and. Yeah, just then they hit on some pretty interesting modern themes. I know for some, the finale was a bit disappointing. And like, I know for some, they kind of wimped out a bit on like the supernatural stuff. Yeah, which I can see, to be fair. But yeah, I think sometimes it's best just to go for like a more simple finale and not try anything too like kind of complex or convoluted. And they did leave some stuff open, which is something I do appreciate. I do like when shows like that don't feel the need to answer every question. So mostly it was good. There were one or two little nitpicks along the way. I think it did have a couple of cheesy moments near the start, but overall I did like it. So True Detective North Country. Definitely the best since series 1, I would say, quite easily. I've not seen series 1 for a while. Because I remember liking it, but I'm not sure it quite lived up to the hype, that one. But I'll have to revisit it since it's been 10 years now. So to the middle of the list. And this is another one I finished recently. This is my number 3. And this, a bit like One Day, I think is a rare example of something better than the original. So I would say, although I quite yeah, the partnership was very good. Yeah. So I quite enjoyed the original movie to this, but I definitely prefer the TV show.
So, this is your first time in New York?
Should we be asking each other that? Have you ever killed anyone?
No. Not really.
Really?
No.
Where do I begin to tell the story of how great love can be?
You're married.
The sweet love story that is older than the sea.
I should be clear, I'm not in this for the romance.
About the love he brings to me.
What is it that you two do?
We're computer software engineers.
With angel songs, with wild night.
I should be dead.
He fills my soul with so much love that anywhere I go.
How's the intimacy between the two of you?
With him along,
I'm scared.
who could be lonely? I reach for his hand. It's always there.
What do you think happens if we fail?
Our marriage?
Our mission.
And he'll be there.
Quite the supporting cast. Some great cameos there, as you see from that trailer. And yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, another surprise of the year, but in a way I shouldn't be, because everything Donald Glover does turns to gold, and he's just so smooth and fantastic and funny. And yeah, it was the first time I've seen the co-lead, Maya Esker. I've not seen her in anything before, but she was really fantastic. And they had great chemistry. They subvert, kind of the gender roles in it. And I think the reason I prefer it to the film is because I like the fact that they screw up so much, and they sort of give you this idea of these two agents who are new to this type of career, and they're just finding their feet gradually, and they're doing that with their relationship. So them actually being quite clueless makes them quite normal as well, and they just feel like regular people just thrown in at the deep end. And there's a lot of fun because of that, and a lot of fun with their relationship, a lot of fun jokes and reactions to things, and some great supporting casts like this. Saw Parker Posey in the trailer. She's never bad, and Ron Perlman is great in an episode. They just give like the supporting cast some really good parts as well. So some fun action scenes, some smooth styles, some slick style, and some fun bits of dialogue. I enjoyed like the therapy scenes as well, and how they play with like the sort of format of the show. So really good, and there's a sense of jeopardy at the end of the show as well. So that's Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Amazon Prime now. That's my number 3. And my number 2, which I've been finishing in the last couple of days, is a returning show, although it's a different story this time because it's an anthology show. And yeah, I've been impressed. I think I might like series 2 a bit more than I like season 1. But let's take a look.
What might be available to you if fear was not an option? Are you ready? Ready to relinquish doubt and befriend your most actualized self? Are you ready?
Wish your mama happy birthday before she goes to work.
Happy birthday, Mom.
Be safe.
Call came in just before 6:30 a.m.
Detective? You're gonna want to see this.
"25 fractures in all. Only bodies I've ever seen this broken were run over by trains."
He's killed before. You don't start out this proficient at it.
I think he knew his victims. Feels personal.
This guy's left no eyewitnesses. Who could not be noticed?
The last thing we need right now is a serial killer.
Well, that's what we got, sir.
Are you scared?
Should I be?
Do you not understand what went on in here? No human is capable of that kind of evil.
Do you ever feel like you can't breathe? Your heart is just gonna stop. You wanna yell, but you know no one will hear you.
It's too late. It's coming.
Fear was not an option. 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 Fear was not an option.
You believe in God,
Yeah, of course.
even with everything you've seen.
No, I believe in the devil too.
Okay, Lemon Scare. So anthology series returns. So yeah, it's an anthology show where like each season focuses on a different like race related story. Yeah, no, I think you would like it, Cindy. It definitely has strong horror vibes. It's a very psychological show. You'll notice Pam Grier's in there as well in a cameo. Well, she has a regular role. Also Newman himself, Wayne Knight's in there in a supporting role. But very good leads as well, very good style, very good period piece. And yeah, it's a different story each season, like a different setting. So this one is set in the early 90s and it's surrounding the fallout from the Rodney King stuff and the scrutiny that was put on the police around that time. And there's a serial killer on the loose, and so you've got an African American chief of police, and it gets into the racism of that, and you know what she has to deal with at work. But as I said, it does mix horror and like thriller drama, and the two plots run side by side because there's a plot involving this guy who wants to be an actor. And he's like a jobbing sort of actor. He works at like an amusement park. And it sort of looks at how he's like the butt of the jokes and is desperate to be taken seriously. And and the two plots are connected, which you see later in the season. They like come together. But one of the things with him is that at one point, like a secretary at like the casting agency takes, sort of has sympathy for him, and she gets him like an audition to be in like a horror movie. So it plays on that whole thing. It plays on this idea of that he's actually auditioning to be the serial killer. So it plays on that whole thing of how, normally African American people at that time would be more like the victims in a horror movie. So he actually dreams of being the serial killer, but that goes a little bit too far and, gets out of hand type thing. But there's some fun like comedy, like satire moments where he's imagining being like other like traditionally white roles. Like there's a scene where he's like pretending to be Hulk Hogan in his room, like an American hero. So it's really well done. The psychology of it is very well done, and it's really stylish and unsettling. Because when I had Chansey on last month for the What We've Been Watching show, she said she didn't like the first series because she thought it was a bit, sort of like kind of like torture porn on like African Americans, which I can definitely see. So I think hopefully this one might tone that down a little bit, but it's very meaty, it's very well done, and definitely worth a look. So that's Them the Scare on Amazon now. And well, my number one, there's only one number one really, although Them the Scare is pretty close. But yeah, I think this one, no prizes for guessing, but I think it's definitely filling the void left by The Last of Us this year. So it's The Last of Us of 2024.
I know that I've lived a relatively comfortable life.
Stop! Lucy!
You need to go home. Vault dwellers are an endangered species. I do not think you would be willing to do what it takes to survive up here. If you insist on staying, then you will have to adapt.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to see tomorrow unless I see it with.
Tomorrow, so they say, will be a lovely day. A bright new sun will suddenly break through. But I don't want to see tomorrow unless I see it with you.
I grabbed a moldy one.
Tomorrow, so I hear the clouds release a
Yes, season 1 I think worked really well for fans of the game and also non-gamers like me, because I know very little about Fallout, but I got invested in the world, had a good mix of over-the-top fun action scenes, pulpy scenes with some fun dialogue. But also, again, it sort of shows that you can't go too wrong with a good, like, post-apocalyptic sort of story. They always seem relevant. Great use of music. I know the music got a bit overdone at times, but that added some good contrasts. And yeah, they really cast it to perfection and had some good black humor, had some meaty backstories as well. I thought the flashbacks in the show were really well done and added a lot. And yeah, I can't really fault the casting. I mean, Walter Goggins was perfect casting as the cowboy character, and I thought Ella Farrell from the Yellow Jackets was like the perfect Lucy as well. And yeah, it does seem to be satisfying fans of both the game and if you're just a casual like me. So and I know Pete liked it, Cindy, and he isn't actually a full-out fan, I don't think. Like, he's not a massive fan of the game, so that's again, I think, sort of shows you. So yeah, bring on season 2. I think for the high budget sort of Amazon shows, it's sort of one of the best anyway. So that's Fallout, my number 1 of the year so far in TV. Hopefully I gave you guys some ones to look out for and catch up on. And you can let me know some of your faves as well. And just to say, my turkey of the year for TV, without doubt, is this pile of shit. Fuck you, Orphan Black Echoes. Fuck you. Fuck you straight to hell. You can find some of my reviews on that. What a dog shit show. Yeah, when you get time, Cindy. When you get time. Okay, so I'm going to make a start. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it really is terrible. It really is terrible. And yeah, and it just, they CW it so badly. And yeah, the 3D printer stuff, or all the rest of it. The way they screw up with the aging, and it just reminds me that the original Orphan Black is one of my favorite shows. So I'm going to move on to movies and my top 5 of the year so far for movies. And my top 5, my number 5, we're going back to the Apes franchise and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, because again, they just keep coming up with inventive new ideas. And I don't think this was the best. Like, it wasn't as good as maybe the recent trilogy, but I do think they found a good way to continue on the story. And I think they cast it really well. I really like the girl who played Nova. And yeah, again, it was a nice slow burn sort of drama with great CGI and good, like, there was definitely some practical effects mixed in with the CGI, but the CGI was impressive. And yeah, no, again, it was quite moving and it made you think about certain ideas. I think there were 1 or 2 clunky moments and like predictable moments, but I guess you're always going to have that in this sort of film. I thought the Nova stuff was a little bit on the nose, like the way they sort of worked that in from the past films, but that's only a small complaint. Like, overall, I was really satisfied with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And it's always nice to see William H. Macy, even in a small role, because you don't see him that often. So my number 5 is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Are you familiar with the concept of evolution? In their time, humans were capable of many great things. They could fly like eagles fly. they could speak across oceans. But now it is our time. And it is my kingdom. We will learn. Apes will learn. I will learn. And I will conquer.
Legend says ape and human lived side by side. Impossible as that may seem.
Why do they hunt her?
She's smarter than most.
The elders did not tell us everything about this world.
Bend for your king.
Apes hunt humans. That is wrong.
Together, you will die.
No, together, strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they found a way to link the recent trilogy with the new film quite well, quite smooth. Like it didn't feel too forced, and like I said, that actress I think playing Nova was a real standout. Someone said about something she was in, but I can't remember what it was. But I thought she was really good in quite a tough role as well, quite a murky type role. But yeah. Yeah, one or two small complaints, but overall, I really liked the movie. So it was a good way to carry on the franchise, I think. Oh, it might be The Witcher. Yeah. But it was good. Yeah, she was good as well. Okay. So that's my number 5. By the way, I think there should be a stream next Friday, like returning to a movie watch, hopefully. I'm planning on doing Plan 9 from Outer Space, the classic, because I've never seen that. So I'm planning on that being the watch for next Friday. I had to move this stream around, so the sort of fun B movie genre watch should return next week. Oh boy, indeed. There was something I saw recently which reminded me of that. I can't remember what it was. Okay, anyway, on to number 4 for the year. And this is a little bit of art house, sort of playful fun, a little bit of sport, a little bit of love triangle. You already know what film I'm talking about, but you've got Sedano playing against Type, having a little bit of fun. Lots of style, lots of eccentric like moments, great tennis scenes. It really sums up the sporting rivalry between the two guys. My only disappointment really was that it didn't end up being a wacky, like twisted version of Basic Instinct, because the trailer did promise that it was going to be a bit more eccentric and messed up. And that was my only disappointment. The Trent Reznor music is fantastic. I had that in my head a long time after leaving the cinema. And I think it is just a playful, fun movie. Like I think it's an art house director with a lot of critical acclaim, kind of relaxing and kicking back and having some fun. And I think that's how you have to approach it. Like it was never meant to be like this great sort of like masterpiece of a movie, but it's very well directed. The tennis scenes are very impressive, and yeah, Sedano's having some fun, but I think it is a bit of a let's sort of shift or shed my kind of, I'm an icon, everyone likes me sort of skin. I will say she's very composed, like in public, Sedano, and on film. So I think that's why this casting made a lot of sense. But that's my one thing is I was hoping maybe I was hoping for some like alien type plot randomly in the middle of the movie, but it's a very well done movie anyway. And that is The Challengers, my number 4.
You think that tennis is about expressing yourself, doing your thing. But you don't know what tennis is.
Alien.
What is it?
Why not, Cindy?
Tashi Duncan, she's in another league. You were incredible today. To have a fashion line, a foundation, she's gonna turn a whole family into millionaires.
What are you gonna do now?
Unfortunately, my only skill in life is hitting a ball with a racket.
I want you to be my coach. I want you to be my coach.
How often does this happen? Going after the same girl? Come here.
Which one of us? This is a game about winning the points that matter. I don't need to play mind games with you. Come have a cigarette with me. I have to talk to you.
I don't smoke, and I'm not talking to you.
He's not in love with you.
What makes you think I want someone to be in love with me?
Hey, I love you.
I know.
Well, the Sedano memes are already in the bag. And don't forget, Cindy, it's always about tennis. Okay. Give me a moment. I'm going to set up another clip for my number 3 movie. No, interesting. I saw some good reviews, but it looks really crap. It's got a pretty good cast, but it looks really naff to me. I don't know if it's meant to be like tongue-in-cheek. Like some of the critics have been giving it some good buzz. Maybe. I think I'll wait for streaming. I don't think I'll see that one in the cinema. That's the... Oh, it's Jodie Comer, isn't it? She's in it. Jodie Comer. Comer's a curry. Yeah. Who's the director again? Isn't it the... Yeah, I do like Jodie Comer. I'm actually going to catch up with the other film she was in earlier this year, the one with the end of the world plot. That one looked quite interesting. But I do... Yeah, you got me thinking, isn't... What's his name, the director? He's done some pretty good films. Oh, yeah, Jeff Nichols, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Jeff Nichols has done some good films. Take Shower, Loving. Yeah, Midnight Special. He's the guy who did Midnight Special. Yeah. No, I have seen a few of his films. I saw Shotgun Stories ages ago, which was his first film. He also did Mud with Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, he's that guy. Okay, I'll probably wait for streaming. I won't go cinema for that, but I'll see it at some point. But yeah, he tends to do a lot of moody films with Michael Shannon. Because what other sort of movies are Michael Shannon going to do, really? He's not exactly the comedy guy. Okay. I am not shocked. They seem to like working together. Okay. I'll check it out. So my number 3 was a horror movie that came out about March time, and it came and went, and it tapped into some kind of 80s romantic vibes, a little bit Edward Scissorhands. And I think Catherine Newton, definitely one of the hottest actresses right now for me, certainly for horror. And this just had a fun, quirky vibe, which sort of hooked me in. Some great use of music, some black comedy, and I do like the screenwriter Diablo Cody quite a lot. And it's one of those little sort of quirky gems which you either take to or you just don't. And sometimes they can be the best movies, but I thought that the leads had irresistible chemistry. And I also appreciated the like the stepsister in it, how they subverted that trope, how they set her up to be like this kind of shallow, kind of like mean girl style, but how she's actually just a regular teenage girl and is very supportive of her sister or stepsister. And they actually have quite a beautiful relationship in the movie. But I'm of course talking about Lisa Frankenstein, which was the debut film from the late Robin Williams' daughter, of course. So hopefully she'll go on to direct more things. But yeah, not for everyone, but for me, I had a lot of fun with Lisa Frankenstein. My number 3.
Are you hot for me? Lisa! Does he have more of a basketball bod or a football bod?
He doesn't play sports.
I tend to his grave.
I talked to him.
I wish I was with you. That's really weird, Lisa.
You hear that?
I'm sure it's the girl next door. She's very odd.
You're him? I can't believe you're here. Do you like music? I have the cure. Oh, not that kind of cure. They can't make you better. I mean, they can, but like emotionally. No, don't cry. Your tears smell so bad. Send it back.
You need a friend.
No? I love it. It's not really my style.
When you're in doubt.
Lisa looks good.
She could probably even do pageants if she had congeniality.
Your daughter is a little psycho. I owe my glorious home to an ungrateful little. I want to help you, but
Taffy says it's a waste of time to try and fix a boy. It's better just accept a guy's flaws.
oh, that's so cute. I have an idea. There are bad people out there.
Come on, Lisa.
It'll feel good.
That hand is going to do terrible things.
You are being admitted. Inpatient. Lockdown.
I could get the clink for life or the electric chair, but I don't want to die a virgin. You know anything about the disappearance of a student?
I'm not making any more comments. You can talk to my lawyer.
Really hope this goth phase ends soon.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it as well, Cindy. It just struck a certain sweet spot for me, and yeah, definitely Edward Scissorhands vibes and quite a fun twist on the Frankenstein tale. But Catherine Newton was very game, having a lot of fun. I really like the casting of the parents as well, but it's a surprisingly sweet movie, I think. They definitely get a good balance. You'll have to send me the link, or what's the name of that channel? But yeah, Coming of Rage tale, that's gonna take off. I'm gonna work that into all my reviews. My Killer podcast. Okay, thank you, Cindy. I'll check them out. I'll sub to their channel actually right now. Yeah, I just subbed. So I hope they're good, Cindy. Otherwise, I'm going to blame you if I don't like their stuff. Be sure to let me know, guys, some of your faves of the year. So that's my number 3, Lisa Frankenstein. And my number 1, you can't keep her down, really. Catherine Newton is always brilliant, and she's brilliant in this movie as well. Spoilers.
Please let me out. I'm scared.
Cut the shit. You're really good at pretending to be a little girl.
Thank you.
Quick question. Who's inside a cage right now?
What do we know about vampires? How do we kill it?
Crucifixes.
Stake through the heart.
Daylight is a big one. We need to find a way out of here.
We split up. This is just a game to her.
What can I say? I like playing with my family.
Hello?
And a stake through the heart for whoever cut that trailer, the idiots. That's Abigail. And I go up and down on the Scream 5 and 6 guys. Some of their movies I quite enjoy, some not so much. I'm definitely mixed on Scream 5 and 6. I had more fun with Scream 6 than 5. But yeah, this one did hit like a fun kind of Usual Suspects sort of 90s vibe with some good horror moments. Trailer gave too much away. I mean, there are still a couple of twists and surprises after that, but yeah, it definitely would have been fun going in fresh and not knowing what the horror twist was. The actress who someone said was in Matilda, funnily enough, like the young ballerina, was great in it as well. I mean, she's a natural. And I really like the somber cast and the mystery of the film, and just some of the fun black humor. And as I said, how it had a very like 90s sort of vibe to it, like very Usual Suspects, very Tarantino. So It was a good film despite that, but yeah, that definitely ruined it a little bit, knowing the vampire twist, especially since it came like 40 minutes into the movie. My only other complaint apart from that was the ending a little bit, because spoilers again if you haven't seen the movie, but I personally don't think you needed to see like the father of the daughter. Like, you didn't need to see that Matthew Good character, like the underworld gangster guy. I think there was more power and intrigue to not actually showing him. And I think they probably just did it as one final twist. Maybe one final is the main character going to get out of there type moment. Like, but I think there was more power to actually not seeing him. So that's another small complaint. But I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed the slow burn nature of the movie and some of the. There was some fun, snappy dialogue back and forth between the characters. I thought the cast were really fantastic. So I had a lot of fun with Abigail. Just shame we got the twist spoilt. So Abigail's my number 2. Yeah. Yeah, I know you weren't as hot on it as I was, but solid movie for me. It's just nice to have a fun kind of horror movie, you know, because sometimes horror movies now can take themselves a bit too seriously. So it's fun to have a throwback movie like that. So do you want to guess what my number 1 of the year is so far, Cindy? And then I'll play the trailer. Any ideas? It's a movie you really like as well. Okay. All right, so my number 1 of 2024 so far is this.
States have seceded.
The United States Army ramps up activity.
The White House issued warnings to the Western forces as well as the Florida Alliance.
The 3-term president assures the uprising will be dealt with swiftly.
Let me know if you want to try anything on.
Are you guys aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America?
I love this
Try
scene.
to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Citizens of America, the so-called Western forces of Texas and California have suffered a very great defeat at the hands of the United States military.
Mr. Yeah, you
President, do
saw
you
it
refer
3
the use
times,
of
didn't you, I
airstrikes
think?
against American citizens? We're moving to D.C. today.
We need to go down there.
They shoot journalists on sight in the Capitol. Every instinct in me says this is death.
What?
Every time I survived the war zone, I thought I was sending a warning home. Don't do this. But here we are.
There's some kind of misunderstanding here. What? Well, you're American, okay?
Okay. What kind of American are you? You don't know?
The Western forces will reach the White House on July 4th.
Oh my God.
Get in the car! Get in the car! Move, move, move!
You're gonna hang back.
I'm not hanging back.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go, 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 go!
God bless America.
Oh yeah, I'll be getting the Blu-ray definitely. So yeah, Alex Garland, his new movie, and yeah, he's sort of back to his best in some ways because his last couple of projects I know have got a bit mixed reviews. because that TV show Devs I thought was very hit and miss. And I've not seen Men, but I know that got some negative reviews. So this does feel like it's him back to his best with a really powerful modern sort of story that's sort of more relevant than ever. And it's a really scary, edge of your seat film, but also a beautiful movie at times. Like, I do like the way you go on a road trip with these characters, and I thought there was great use of music, great cinematography, and just moments of black humor sprinkled in. But I think because you went on the journey and you got to know the characters and their day-to-day lives, and just how it showed what an unpredictable life that is, then I think that really engaged you in the storylines and their lives. And yeah, it kind of made the moments that were tense and scary even more tense and scary, because you sort of had those down moments with just the characters getting to know each other. But yeah, really powerful satire, very well done. And yeah, it definitely had me on the edge of my seat. And yeah, without doubt, Cindy, definitely a cautionary tale. And yeah, it is pretty scary how inevitable, or how it could pan out that way if we're not careful. But yeah, very well cast. I thought Kirsten Dunst was fantastic. I think it's a great, really understated role for her. Lot of depth to her character. I like the relationship with her and the younger sort of reporter journalist, and just the whole thing. I think the whole set of characters worked really well, and their kind of dynamics. But yeah, Civil War is my film of the half year so far. I thought it was really well done, and definitely a movie I'll be revisiting. So I think I'll get the Blu-ray as well when it comes out. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this stream, just half a year of my film and movies. So my top fives for each one. So when it comes to turkeys, definitely some bad horrors this year. Definitely things like Tarot, which was terrible. Baghead kind of sucked. And also Night Swim was a bit dull. So there's been a few bad horrors, but a couple of good ones as well, and hopefully some good ones to come as well. But yeah, my top 5 TV shows and my top 5 movies of the year so far, and I'll definitely come back at the end of the year and do my list for the end of the year. So we'll see if anything gets added or if anything changes. But thanks, Cindy. The next stream, thank you also for Jason for dropping by. The next stream will be the TV horror quiz on Tuesday night. So I'm going to round off the season on Tuesday. And yeah, the back half of the year, at least for horror, is looking a little bit more promising than the first half, I'd say, for sure. So yeah, I'll be back with the quiz on Tuesday, and that'll be the finale of the season. And don't forget, at the start of next season, you guys can ask me questions. I'm going to start the season that way, with a special one-off where you get to test my TV and film knowledge. So I'll make the date for that stream soon, but you guys can either bring questions on the night, or you can just contact me on my socials and give me questions that way. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll be back with more soon. Take care. Good night.